Hello there, I am Gifty Anti and welcome to TSP with Gifty Anti.
Who can deny Gifty?
No.
I don't think anyone shall. Thank you for having me.
Hello there, welcome to the month of November on TSP with me, Gifty Anti. And what a way to start the month of November. My guest today, no apologies. When it comes to her, I'm biased. I love her not because she loves me, because her mother loves me. So I love her too. And no dispute about it. Love her, hate her, listen, you cannot discount the path she has charted when it comes to women empowerment, when it comes to empowering young women, when it comes to even to a certain extent energizing the political space when it comes to women. Anyway, before I introduce her, let me say thank you to Amazing Grace Enterprise at Tudu opposite the fire service for my fabric. I wanted to mention the name of this fabric, but I think, is this Mokado or Mikado or something? Anyway, and thank you to Leran Collections for making this outfit for me. Thank you so much. Makeup products always from Sigma Health and Beauty, and of course, beautifully applied by the Global. Siedua, thank you so much. My accessories today by That Boy Fashion. They at Makola inside there. Thank you so much to everybody who makes this show possible. And trust me, today is a curtain raiser. And the whole of November is going to be awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, even as we welcome the Minister for Communications, MP for Honourable Ursula Owusu Ekuful. And she's a Queen Mother. Please, what's the title? Your correct title? Nana Abna. Bema. Jankoba. Assume. Assume. Jankoba assume. Of assume. And Kosyo. That's right.
Such a pleasure to see you, my
Good
dear.
to see you too.
It's not only my mother who loves you. I was about to disown you, Mom, but
no, you can't disown me. Mama will not even allow you.
Yeah.
So please. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting discussion, and you sit back. Call everybody who is missing the show to tune in because it's going to be really, really interesting. Capturing untold stories of the Honourable Minister for Communications. I'll be back. Welcome back to TSP with me, Gifty Anti. And yes, the first episode for the month of November. Now, before we get to talking, let me say thank you to Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan. The new order of retirement is here. Now you can retire on your own terms with a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. Simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and start receiving monthly income every single month to enjoy a perfect retirement. The best part is you get to enjoy added benefits of an annual increase in your income every single year. Now call Old Mutual on 050-453-43333, 050-453-4333, or simply visit www.oldmutual.com or place a call to *789*01#. And they will pick up or they will direct your call to the call center. Obrapa Ahunto Enkwa. And have you heard about the new pepper in town? Kivo Hot Pepper is the new pepper in town, and it makes cooking easier, faster, more delicious. Eshishipa. And so, and they come in all sachets, all sizes, and whatever it is, school children, home, chop bars, you can buy it and you don't have to go back to the grinding and blending or whatever. Everything is ready for you. And hey, parents, guardians, and what have you, if you're looking for the perfect place to shop for your kids, look no further. Kidsville on the Spintesu Road, adjacent to Noble House, and then they are at the Palace Mall as well. Everything kids is there. Everything kids you can get there, and of course, to Vena Mineral Water and Bigo drinks. Vena Mineral Water has the balanced pH level. It is low in sodium. It has all the minerals that you need, and then they believe in giving back to society by sharing love and then changing lives as well. Now, to my guest for today. She is Honourable Mrs. Ursula Owusu Ekuful, who's also the Queen Mother and Kosoahima of Achim Esium, with a very powerful name, Nana Abena Bema. What's the name of Bema? Not Bema, it's Bema. Bema Achim. Powerful name. She is also the Minister of Communication and Digitalization. And also Toboka. Digitalization. Yes, Samato. And MP for Ablekuma West. Welcome back home. Because we started with you.
You know?
The standpoint started with you all the way from African Region Hotel.
It's been many years. And well done for sustaining it. Thank you.
It's been 16 years. Can you believe it? 16 years.
Hey, we go a long way.
We do. It's been amazing. I mean, when you sit and you look back, I remember those, even from the breakfast show days, where some of you, Professor Odrigadepo now, Mrs. Margaret Amwakohine, yes. And then the insult, hey, watch you. The insult started long time.
I've developed an elephant skin.
And the threats and everything.
Seen it all. Physical assault, verbal assault.
Yeah.
For God and country.
Would you say it's worth it? Or it's been worth it?
No, I think it is. I think despite everything, we need to have women in decision making. And I keep saying that let all the difficult moments end with our generation, so that the next generation will have an easier path through to contributing to the governance of our country. We can't have only men taking decisions which impact our lives and our futures. Because we also have to have a seat at the decision-making table.
Right.
And I'm hoping that by telling our stories too, it will improve upon the situation for others as well.
Yeah.
However, sometimes it does feel like you're hitting your head against a brick wall.
Yeah.
Because the more things change, the more they stay the same. Particularly when it comes to women in politics, not just in our country, but on our continent. Because, well, in the world globally, look at what they're doing to Kamala and the insults being thrown at her. It's as if we're intruding into a space that we don't belong in. But the whole world needs to understand that. We know what our challenges are. And we know what the solutions to those challenges are. And nobody can speak for us because we do have a voice. And we will use that voice. So for me, it's important to still keep standing, to still keep speaking, no matter what is thrown at me. So everyone else out there, every young girl out there can see that it is possible, it is doable, because role models like we are doing it. And I'm not the only one. Every woman who takes that leap to be in the political space in our country is subjecting herself, her children, her family, her friends to unimaginable attacks. And they come in all shapes and sizes. But by even agreeing and accepting and being willing to take up that challenge, she's already a winner.
You know, you had been in the forefront of fighting for women empowerment from
FIDA
FIDA
days
to whatever. But did you anticipate this kind of antagonism, this kind of emotional, physical, whatever abuse when you stepped into the real political field?
We had heard about it, but I didn't realize it would be that bad. You know, it's as if they dissect you from head to toe. Everything about you is subjected to some negative comment or other. People don't just take what you're saying or doing at its face value. And so they have to read meanings into it and put a negative slant on it. But for me, what makes it all worthwhile is you meet young girls. I keep saying that if children could vote, I would never have any problem in my constituency. Because every time I step out to go on my house-to-house campaigns, the number of children who follow me, and they just keep shouting, Esla, Esla. And my people will be saying, hey, she's not your classmate for you to be calling her. I said, oh, Munya, I'll leave them. Because, I mean, that's the way they identify with me. And those who come up to me and tell me that they are also considering life in public service, in politics, because of what they've seen us do and achieve, every single one of those encounters is an affirmation of the life that I've chosen to lead. And so to answer your question, yes, it's been worthwhile.
Did you have any crying moments?
Plenty. If only my pillow could talk. Hey, if only my pillow could talk. There are good moments and bad moments. We're human. So there comes a time when you feel overwhelmed by it all. It helps if you have a supportive family. But one thing I've noticed is that for many women in politics, their children don't want to do politics. So there's something off-putting about it to them. And that's something that we need to address. And not just women. And if you look, very few have generations of their family following in their political footsteps. And those political families, I doff my heart out to them because it does take a huge toll on you. It takes you away from the family in terms of time, quality time, the resources that you are expending on the needs of your constituents and the society as a whole takes it away from your family as well. And I literally had to, I haven't said this publicly before, I think. I literally had to pinch myself at some stage and say, no, don't do that. Because your child will come up to you, Mommy, I need something. Your instinctive reaction is, no, you can't have it. Your constituent comes up to you, they want something, and you will do whatever it takes to give it to them. So I ask myself, why are you punishing your children and taking care of other people's children? Yes, it's your calling, but they are also your constituents. They are your first constituents, your family. So you can't do outside gentility home cry. No, you can't do that. So I literally had to consciously make an effort to also take care of the needs of the family and not relegate it to the background while prioritizing everything to do with my work. And I think all of us need to do that. And
that's a tough work, isn't it?
It is.
You need to be intentional about it.
You need to be intentional
that you
and
don't let
deliberate
your
about
family
it.
suffer for the sake of you.
Absolutely. Particularly for us women. Because no matter what you do, where you go, you are still the wife and mother if you're married. You are still the daughter. You still have those demands on your time, and you can't take your eye off that ball. The man can say, oh, the woman is at home, she'll take care of the family. But for you, no matter how high you rise, you're still mommy. So you have to be able to keep all those balls in the air, juggling them without letting any of them fall. So I think I need to commend the families of all those women in politics for the sacrifices that they've had to endure to give us the space to also do the work that we're doing for our countries. And we don't appreciate them enough. And I think we need to do that. And we need to make time. Also deliberately make time to spend with them. The children grow up too quickly. Now you can't even, I mean, they're all
How old is your
gone.
son now?
My son, Nana Kofi, how is he? He's 27 or something, or 28 or thereabout.
He's a man now, full
You
grown
know,
man.
so he's living his own life.
Yeah.
And the two girls are married and have their own families and all of that.
Wow.
And so they've also gone. And we're facing the emptiness syndrome. So if you don't enjoy them in their formative years, a time will come when they also get busy with their families and you would miss them. But they won't be there because they're also raising their own families and living their own lives. So enjoy Princess while she's young. Right?
Yes, sir. Did you ever have a moment where your children come to you and ask you, Mommy, do you have to do this because of what is thrown at them, which affect them? And sometimes those who know that they are your children, God, your mother, that. Did you ever have that? And how did that affect you?
I've told this story several times. Nana Kofi was about 10 years old. And he came back from school crying. And he asked me, Mommy, are you a prostitute? And I said, what the hell do you mean by that? He said, yes. His classmates were saying that their parents were saying they had written something about me in some newspaper that I was a prostitute. So my mother is a prostitute.
Jesus.
And he was like, you are not a prostitute. Are you a prostitute? I said, no, I'm not a prostitute. And go and tell your friends too that they shouldn't believe everything that their parents read to them in the newspapers. Those were newspapers. Can you think about how social media has amplified the negativities? And that's what we all have to grapple with. I'm Minister for Communications and Digitalization. I'm promoting the use of new media and all forms of digital engagement. But we have to be careful about how we can poison people's minds with the stuff we throw out there. And a lot of it is done knowingly. We know we're putting fake news, false news, innuendos, and just all this vile rubbish out there just to score political points. But think about the fact that the people we are attacking in that manner have people who also look up to them. They have families. They have kids. And it may have a lasting impact on them. There have been moments when we have had to sit them down and explain some of these things to them. And so I'm not surprised that not too many of them are keen to get into frontline politics. They see the dirty side of it. Yes. There have been moments when you're feeling low and they'll just come and give you a hug. Not say anything, just hug you, and you know that children absorb those vibes. They see it when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're sad and all of that. They may not be able to articulate comfort, but just by holding you and all of that, it also imparts some comfort. So we should balance those things when we are in the free. Yes, they say manoya. I say it as it is. But me no crying na a drink of.
I was going to ask maybe say they said one way, you will say whatever it is, one joke. You know, you are just this
admit it. These days I'm mellowed. Age has mellowed me. And I think I've gained some wisdom too along the line. Yes, Bibi Anka Papa and if you don't come and provoke me, I will not respond in kind. But largely, I've learned to take a step back and bite my tongue instead of that papa response. Sometimes it comes though, but we're working on it. I'm still a work in progress.
I want to find out all that you've been through, you know, even from leadership, early roles from, you know, various organization, feeder and all that. Would you say it changed you, the kind of person you are. It changed you to become very, quote unquote, hard and, for want of a better word,
Assertive.
assertive. That's the correct word. Assertive. Yes.
I think so too. I wasn't raised to be, I was raised to speak my mind. I come from a family of strong women. If you know Nanekuya Santua,
Exactly.
Kutoku Hima, and she's my aunt. And people say I'm a chip of the old block.
Yeah, it didn't fall too far from the tree.
No. I come from a family of very strong women. We are gonna stunti yayaku yanwati, you know. And Marco school kakra, and also so Marco saying bro for meditating for one function. It's not deliberate. But you know, I think the experiences of life shape you.
Yeah.
And I say this and people don't believe. I was a very quiet child, very introspective, very, very, very much an introvert, and kept to myself a lot. Always had my head stuck in books, reading. So those that I grew up with in early childhood, they called me a bookworm because I was always reading. My head was always there. I like minding my own business, you know. But I always also jumped up to defend the underdog or people that I felt were being unfairly treated. So my parents weren't surprised when I decided to become a lawyer. And I think the experiences of life, when you're a woman and you're not just in public service, in any workplace environment, you are expected to do 200 times more than your male colleagues. Because it's as if you always have to prove yourself, to prove that you merit the position that you're either occupying or vying for. That also takes a toll on you because you're constantly, you know, pushing and shoving and doing stuff that others would do a small fraction of and get noticed, get the advancement that they need and all of that. And for most women in public life, that or even in the workplace, that will shape you. You will either become timid, either say and make you timid, or you go to the other extreme and assert yourself. And being from a family of strong women and raised to speak my mind too, it doesn't always help you when you are seeking advancement in your professional or public life. But I always like to sleep with a clear conscience, knowing that you didn't see injustice and turn a blind eye to it. I will speak up against injustice of any kind, against people being unfairly treated. Nowadays, I've learned to make some of those comments privately. Instead of publicly. I found that sometimes you also get more results that way. You end up not showing people up or embarrassing them, even though you didn't intend to, but by pointing out the obvious to them when they're being foolish, but doing it privately, it helps. It's a more face-saving way. So we've come a long way.
You know, I'll take a break. When we come back, we'll look at, because for most people, they only know your political life. They don't know the corporate life. They don't know where you worked, how you were able to turn a whole telecommunication, outlet or company around the rooms you've been to, negotiating deals and all that.
You need more than one program for that.
And I actually intend to do part 1 and 2 with you, and because we'll finish very soon. But let me take a break and say thank you to that's Amazing Grace Enterprise. They are at Tudu, opposite the fire service, for my fabric. Thank you to Leran Collections for making this beautiful outfit for me. Thank you to the Boys Fashion Makoladia on Instagram as well, and on Facebook for my accessories, and then Sigma Beauty, Health and Beauty for makeup products, beautifully applied by the Global Asidua and her team. Thank you so much. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to TSP with me, Gifty Anti, and I'm talking to the Minister of Communications and Digitalization. You know, the Vice President, you just a little, you know, be say to say it. Well, again, I say thank you to Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan. The new order of retirement is here. Now you can retire on your own terms with a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. Simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan, and trust me, you will thank me for that, because you will enjoy monthly income for the rest of your life. All you need is to invest a lump sum. Right now, you can call them 050-453-4333, or go to www.oldmutual.com, or simply dial *789*01# to place a call, or brapa ahuntonkwa. And then Kivo hot pepper, the new pepper in town. Eshishe, not so ed. Kivo hot pepper is a new pepper. It is now easier and faster to cook those spicy, delicious meals you love with Kivo hot pepper. You will feel the heat and delicious taste in every meal made with Kivo hot pepper. If you don't like it very hot, you just have to take a little, and it goes well as as well. It will match whatever you want to prepare, and they come in various packs and sizes that is convenient for home cooks, chop bars, restaurant students, and so on and so forth. Just get yours and save yourself a lot of work. Kidville, hey parents and guardians, if you're looking for the ultimate destination to make your kids' dream come true, then look no further than Kidsville. You know where to find us, on the Sphinx Road, next to or adjacent to Noble House, and you get everything you want. Thank you to Vena Mineral Water, balanced pH level, low in sodium, all the minerals that you need, they are there. Thank you to Bigo Drinks as well. We are grateful to House of Food, Auntie Vera, and the team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been over 10 years of you feeding us every time. We are so grateful. And she sat down someone. Yeah.
Hey,
she is your constituent as well.
You know,
Auntie Vera,
the
she's
best
an
comes
amazing
from
woman.
Ablekuma
I
West.
know, right?
Everything is there. Bibi. And fine chicks too.
Pacho Yatiwai. Alcazine for the finger foods. Thank you so much. Yep, cleaning services make sure our environment is clean, and that I know you love your plants. Hey, you still is your garden still,
Yes.
Then her plants.
You haven't been there for a while.
For a long while. Her plants. This is from Zen Garden. They gave us, that's Heaven's Garden, gave us beautiful natural plants. We've had it for over 4 months, and it's still doing so well. And we are so grateful to them. And of course, Juice Time, 100% fruit juices. After school, what was your first job? Your first place you worked?
Which school?
After university.
After university.
Wait, after sixth form, you worked before you.
It's a national service.
The national service, yeah.
But that's not a job.
Yeah,
But my first job was vacation employment at the printing press near my house, Biopoku.
Oh, okay.
That was in secondary school, and it was fun. And we've done a few bits and bobs. But I've always been trading. Something, I've been trading in something or other. So throughout the various iterations of my life. But thinking back, my first job after national service was Ekuful Prempenko.
Okay.
Yeah. After I was called to the bar, I was fortunate. I met the then young Ekuful Greater Accra Regional Bar President at our call dinner. And we were assigned to, I was the Vice President of the Law Students Union at the time. So
you've always been in leadership?
In one shape or the other. So I chaperoned him, or he chaperoned me. We sat at table and I said, well, I'm looking for a place to do my pupillage. And my good friend Sheila Menka Premo was there. So she had told me that when you see him, ask him. So I said, okay, thanks for the tip. I said, okay, come by the office on Monday. So I went after our call dinner on Monday. He had an interview. He said, okay, you look like, let's see, you can come and do your pupillage here. And the rest, as they'll say, is history. And he has been my only boss. From working in his law firm, I went on to become his special assistant at the ministry, the Attorney General's office. And then a brief stint after I left the AG's office, I went on to become the acting managing director of Westel. So I was my own boss then. And a brief stint as corporate and external affairs director, about 6-8 months.
Okay.
And then went back into full-time politics. And here I am now, still serving him as his minister in his government. So he's literally been my only boss throughout my working career. But I've had an interesting time too. I left, got married to my first husband, went off to Japan, where I taught English to...
Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, that was fun.
You taught English in Japan?
I taught English in Japan. First, I studied the language and culture. So I still remember a few words.
Yeah, I want you to say it because maybe you say something and
then taught English first to my church. My pastor was one of my first, well, I went to church there too. Was one of my first students. Basic English. I was struggling to learn the language too, so it was interesting. And then I found a group of middle-aged women, the most fun-filled women I've ever met in my life. I must have been in my 30s then. They were twice my age. And so we would have sessions in a restaurant. And we practice our English, how to order food and interact in a restaurant. And so we'd go there in a park, go to a shop, and stuff like that, or have a cookout, a barbecue, something. And they would be practicing like practical English when they travel outside. So that was fun. And I wrote a column in a newspaper as well.
In Japan?
Yes, in Japan.
In English?
In English, and then my Japanese teacher would translate it into Japanese. So you'd have both the English and the Japanese version. Miyanichi Shumbun. So that was an interesting experience that I had in Japan. And then we moved to Saudi, and there I was a housewife, but I traded in so many things. I brought stuff from Ghana to Saudi, our leather footstools, leatherware, our fabric. I'd make slit and kaba for Nigerians and West Indians there. And then our embroidered fugu, the bubus and stuff. I'll take it, sell it, and then buy gold and come and sell it when I come here. So I had my own lucrative sideline going. I'm not a lazy person. I can't sit.
I can tell. I'm just so you have been working even as a housewife.
You have to do something.
That's why, I remember, I think in one of the programs we did, with the standpoint you talked about, but even if that's when you came up with that time, that domestic CEO. Yes, domestic CEO. If you were a housewife, you still can. You want to see you domestic. You can still do something to earn money.
Absolutely. And now with the digital platforms and all of that, it's even easier to learn any skill online and to sell that skill online. No matter what it is, you can have your own little social media page. Don't just use it for chatting. Use it for selling any product or service that you're producing. Be it dressmaking, hairdressing, makeup artistry and all of that, photography, you name it. Anything at all. You can learn something and then you see my nails, showcase it, take pictures. If you're a nail artist, take pictures of it, post it online. Someone will like it. And now we have digital address. Put your digital address there. They will locate you. You pay electronically by mobile money and all of that. So sitting in your own small space, you're trading. So we have no excuse to say we can't get a job. We can't do anything. You can always find something to do. So we're working on that in the constituent, but that's the story for another day.
We'll tell that story, But
so from there, When I left the Attorney General's office, I was sent to and it's the way, I've said this a few times, but the experiences that we get in life are preparing us for another level in our future. You may not like it.
Yeah.
It may not be pleasant, but go through it. And I think that I've lived it in my life. When I left the Attorney General's office, I did a brief stint of consultancy work, gender consultancy for the UN, agencies, EU and all of that, traveling all over the place. Then I got a call out of the blue from Ambassador D.K. Osei, who was then secretary to President Ekuful, that, President Semenfro, and as you see, and I said, oh, may I make consult? I'm doing some small consultants. And he said, well, they want to send a female lawyer to the board of Ghana Telecom then. And my name has come up. So would I like to do it? And I said, why not? I'll go and do it. So that was when I first got into telecoms, being appointed to the board of Ghana Telecom. And Dr. Baumia was also on the board at the time. So that's when we first met.
I see.
So from there, when Westel decided that they were selling their shares, their interest here and leaving the country, government decided to take up those shares. So who would government send to go and manage Westel? Now say Eslakra or Ghana Telecom board or a lawyer. That's how I ended up as acting managing director of Westel, because they knew my capabilities as special assistant to the Attorney General. They had seen the work that were done on the board of Ghana Telecom. We were the board that sold it to Vodafone at the time. And how we had managed that work with management to manage that company. And so, based on those experiences, I was sent to Westel. And we turned a failing company around and we bought it for $10 million. I keep saying this. And we're able to sell it to Celtel at the time for $120 million.
Wow.
A few years later. We're able to get them the mobile license that they needed, which they didn't have at the time. So managing struggling companies was part of the experience that I gained along the line. How was I to know?
Finish.
Several years down the line,
that
based on these experiences, I would be appointed Minister for Communications.
Wow.
When I left the AG's office, I thought it was a punishment. And I spent many days and weeks and months crying in my room quietly because I wasn't prepared to leave that office. But because of that, in my mind at the time, misfortune, I got to the Ghana Telecom board, was sent to Westel to manage it, and many years down the line. When I went to Parliament as well, I was bored. Because I said, I'm a very active person. What's this 1 o'clock near upon business? What am I going to do with myself for the rest of the day? So one of the officials in Parliament, and I keep saying this, Mr. Baden, he said, go Kofi Annan. A lot of your colleagues are learning something. So go to Kofi Annan. I said, what am I going to do in Kofi Annan? He said, find out. They're offering all kinds of interesting programs. So he introduced me to it. I went there and I did Masters in Conflict, conflict resolution and peace and security. In peace, security, and conflict resolution, I think. So one of the courses that we were taught there was cybersecurity, and that was my first introduction to cybersecurity. Fast forward, as Minister for Communications, I was asked to supervise our cybersecurity initiatives in the country, and I'm like, okay, the person who taught me cybersecurity is there. Let me go and bring him as my cybersecurity advisor.
Wow.
And from one advisor, we now have a cybersecurity authority that has over 100 employees and is still training more. And Ghana is now one of the leading cybersecurity. In fact, we're a role model on the continent for others. We are a tier 1 cybersecurity authority and having earned 99.2% and the latest ratings that the International Telecoms Union did. In 2017, when we started, we were at 32%. Now we're at 99%.
God works in mysterious ways.
The Lord is just amazing. And this whole month, I've been saying that I'm living testimony of God's goodness. I'm living testimony of his favor and his provision. So don't ever belittle any experience you go through, good or bad. It's preparing you for something the Lord has in mind for you in future. He sees your future. You don't. So me, don't.
Yeah.
Good or bad, you learn something from every experience.
Yeah.
One, what not to do, or what to do and do better. So, in a nutshell,
you know what I'm taking from what you've just narrated is that learn to take, especially as a woman, to take opportunities, no matter how unpleasant it may seem at the time. But make sure you learn something out of them. The network you build as well.
Absolutely. It's absolutely incredible.
Wow.
And you know, help comes from the most unlikely places. So don't look down on anybody. You never know. One nugget of wisdom from him may open God may be using him to open some door for you. Many people know Mr. Baden in Parliament. He's been there forever.
Yeah.
He helps us with all kinds of, he works in the offices of, I think he was in Nitu's office at the time. Yeah. So he's not a secretary, but he sits there. He's one of the people who helps it. And I'm sure many people just ignored him. But through a chance conversation I had with him, I decided to, went to find out more about Kofi Annan and found the person who would help us to develop our cybersecurity.
And this is the woman people say she doesn't listen to anybody. She doesn't listen to advice.
They don't know me.
They didn't take advice. She's full of herself.
Oh, yeah. No problem.
Amazing. Amazing. Parliament.
That's another kettle of fish.
It was tough going in there.
Yes.
The first time you suffered some quote-unquote embarrassing incidents.
See, as for the verbal abuse, the insults, plenty. People have called me a prostitute to my face on set.
Sometimes you wonder when it will end, because I interview, Gloria Orua, senator in Kenya. She was on this set and she shared experience of how she was nearly burnt alive in her car.
How Ekufu's house was burnt down?
Yes.
My mother's house was almost burnt down. We just managed to catch the fire in time. We were outside. Hey, I said, oh, my poor mother. I've put you through a lot. Run, call the fire service, put the thing out. They would come and pack. Never did I filmed you.
Wow.
2012, my opponent in Ablikuma West, she would come and park her pickup in front of my mother's house. Stand in the well of the pickup and dance wriggling her waist to Ole Sekendi Woye. Na briwe shedem na di abeshenebo. I said, Mampacho. And that was where my office was. So I was constantly apologizing to her, one for the noise, for the people who were trooping in and out of her house, all manner of people because of our political career. Ebi bane biko, Papa Obonio, you have to accommodate all of them. Your house being burned down, listening to this noise pollution all the time. Immediately after the election, I moved my office from her house. Now she misses all the action because she was in the center of the action at the time. And she knew everything now she's bored.
Oh no, does it get any better?
I hope it does. Because it's totally unnecessary. Politics are adventure. We're all determining or choosing our preferences with our thumb. Go and tell the people what you can do for them. One thing we're doing to ourselves, which is also a great disservice, is one, the monetization of our politics and the lies, the dishonesty, the deception. I say me, I'm an honest politician. Me can't mean true. I keep saying my head is not a warehouse. To be can sem tremina pese me can edisi wenimpia. Men can't because me I don't store rubbish in my head. But we're doing a disservice to ourselves, and we need to think about how we sustain this. It's too expensive now. This is the most expensive election that I've ever run. This is my 4th term. And it's not getting any easier. So it's going to deter a lot of good people who can't afford.
Because this time the number of women who are contesting,
it's not getting any better.
No.
We have a few more, but it's as if we're still less than 20%. We are still hovering around the 10-15%. Let's see how things go at the end of the day. Because even now, we have candidates. So it's after 7 December that we'll know those who will actually make it into the House. But please, vote for the woman where you are. I beg you.
Vote for the woman.
We need women in our politics. We need it. We add a dimension that the men alone cannot do.
Right.
And we need to mirror our society in the lawmaking chamber of our country. It's absolutely critical. I am excited when at the call to the bar, a lot more women were being called to the bar. So there are more lawyers coming out. Even at the graduation of the doctors as well, a lot more women were graduating. And then that one small space, Parliament, 275 people. We can't get more than 40 women. We can't even get the 75. You give us 75 women in Parliament and let the men take the 200. Even that, we can't even get 50. Why? And the women who are contesting are excellent material, hard-working women, brilliant women. To be able to put yourself through all this just for politics. And it's not as if there's anything in that parliament there too. People don't believe me. But I told the members, the first fresh MPs on our side, I just wrote a few epistles to them, short notes to them. Some of them say they keep it to today. I say, you're on your own. There's nothing here. Don't think anybody's going to do.
Can it get lonely? Does it get lonely sometimes?
We make lasting friendships there too. Okay. Napo Obiamwa, I mean, Obiamwa encouraged me to be part of the subsidiary legislation committee if I want to work. And I said, yes, I want to work. Because that's one of the busiest committees in Parliament. And W. Buafu, he is no longer in Parliament now. He also encouraged me to learn how legislation was actually crafted. So I will sit with him when they're going through the drafting process, the legislative drafting, crafting process, when you're actually doing the bills in the House, and learned quite a few things from him. Usually, that's the most boring part of parliamentary practice. Not many MPs like it. So you find just about 20 or 30 people actually doing the work of developing laws for us. But I enjoyed it. Napo also told me when I was complaining that this place, the idea was, Madam, lower your expectations. So you are a hard-working professional. You are not used to bumming around, but please lower your expectations. I've never forgotten that, you know. So you meet people who encourage you and uplift you along the way and show you guidance. That's my fear about the next parliament. We've lost so much good material. So many excellent MPs are not coming back. Either because they've decided they won't come back again, or they lost at the primaries. So it's as if Parliament is depleted of its most experienced people with each succeeding generation. Can you imagine this chaos that has plagued the 8th Parliament taking place during the time of Ekuful, J.H. Mensah, J.H. Owusu, Japan, and all of that? Never. So it's as if the quality is declining with each new parliament. If the 8th Parliament was bad, I shudder to think what the 9th Parliament will be like. When you don't have these experienced people guiding and directing you. All of these people I mentioned are not coming back. All of them are not coming back.
Honourable, we used to be the Standpoint. And this year we changed it to TSP with Gifty Anti.
Okay.
We've moved from issue-based to projecting the true honest stories of women. Because I felt that we needed to create the right role models. People need to hear the real stories, not just work hard, you can make it, but true stories of what people have been through, what it did. That is why next week we are going to continue this discussion. We are going to find out how it feels like to be 60. So thank you very much for watching this. Remember, part 2, we are bringing it to you next week. There's more. We're going to get into how she grew up, how 60 feels like. What are her chances this time? And what is she doing in her constituency that she thinks, and in terms of who is she mentoring? Who is she raising? So that we'll have a lot more women coming and daring to step in there, knowing that it may be tough, but it is doable. It is achievable. I'm not going to say it is possible. It is possible. We'll be back next week. Thanks for watching. And being an MP and a minister, obviously, is time consuming. It's very demanding. Are you able to still carry your friends around? Like, do you still have friends who you grew up with, who you still connect and bond with?
You are one. When was the last time you saw me?
I don't remember.
Exactly. It does take a toll on your social life. And so when I get a chance to let my hair down, I really go for it. Like I did with Wendy Shea and Shatawale. I enjoy that experience. And Kwame Eugene, I enjoy that experience, but they're few and far between. You're so tired at the end of the day, the only thing you want to do is to sleep. When I came here, I went to lie down in your room and just to relax the body as well. Because you're being pulled, there's your parliamentary work, there's your ministry's work, there's work that you have to do for your boss, and then the constituency as well. All of it time-consuming and emotionally taxing. But you have to. You have to do it. Right. So for a long time, some of it will suffer. I mean, you got so busy with Parliament and with this 137 too. You can't get away, and you once you are whipped to be in the house, you have to be there. Yeah. If it's all negativity, misery loves company. Yeah. Ghanaians are not happy when you are happy. Some of your friends don't like it when you are content. And so they're always trying to foment. They are happy when you are sad and miserable. Then yes, they can share their sad stories and swap sad stories with you. Why are we like that? We should rejoice in people's successes and be happy for them, genuinely. But they do it with a tinge of envy and jealousy. So fortunately, unfortunately, the higher you go, the smaller your circle of friends become.
Okay, what's your favorite song? Gospel song? Not Shatawale. What's your favorite gospel song?
I have to think. Edosu
baby. Now, which one comes to mind?
Mone Minkamfo. Mera de Kessie. Mone Minkamfo. Era de Neke. Because I have so much to be thankful for. Yeah. Intimum namuma yemum emmani dina so. The Lord has been good to us, Gifty.